people who wanted the... Okay. Sorry. I just thought about it. So anyways, so Duryodhana approached Dronacharya with that, question. You look at these Drupad Putrena, here he uses that Drupad's son. Drupad had an animosity with, or Drona and Drupad were like rivals. And he says, you know what? They have chosen Drupad's son, Drishtadumna, as the commander-in-chief for the Pandava army. And what was the reason for this Drishtadumna to be born? He was born to kill Drona, because when Drupad did the yajna, that he wanted a son that would kill Dronacharya. So now he is reminding, Duryodhana is reminding that, hey, listen, old man, this guy is made the commander-in-chief whose the reason for his birth is to kill you. Drupad, tava shishyena dhimata. That, so now he is saying that though it appears, that they are smaller, but their formation is so much better, so much bigger because of their unity. So that's the fear that Duryodhana is presenting it to. And then he continues, Atra Shura Maheshwasa. Now he's counting the people on the Pandava sides and on his own side. That these are the people who are going to fight us. These are the people who have taken a vow to kill us. And I'll tell you on both sides, as if Dronacharya didn't know, but he wanted a reassurance. He wanted to hear him say, Chinta nahi kar boss, sab theek hoga. But he says that look at the size of their bows, that they are all carrying such huge bows and arrows, and look at their strength of Bhima and Arjuna, Yudhishthira. These are all the names that he's talking about. Yudhishthira, Virat, Drupad, who are the Maharathis. Then he talks about Purajita, Kunti Bhoja, Shaibya. These are all, the famous, the biggest generals of that time, and Parakrami, Viryavan, these are the titles that were given to them. Narpungava, that means these are the in the human body, they are actually like the giants, So, and then Saubhadra. Saubhadra is Abhimanyu, Subhadra's son. So Abhimanyu and Draupadi, that means the sons of Drupad, which is basically there were two of them fighting. One was Drishtadumna and what was the other guy's name? Shikhandi. So they are both on that side. And all of them are Maharathis. They means one is equivalent to 1,000 people. So we should be a little bit scared, So now it says, so basically he's a little scared, but he also counts his own people because he was not on the side of Satya and Dharma. So there was that a little fear in him. And so even though the Pandavas are smaller in size, they appeared much bigger to him. He thought, okay, you know what? These guys are too big for us. So, so this is what he told Dronacharya, and then he continues, and I'll just read these verses a little bit. Asmakam tu vishishtate. That means these Tanni Bodh Dvijottama. And he uses again, earlier he used the word Acharya. Here he uses the word Dvij Uttamaha. That means you are, Dvija is used for a Brahman. So he says, oh, great Brahman, instead of calling him a warrior, because that's the role he was playing, he used the word, oh, Dvija Uttamaha. Nayaka mam sanyasa. Now look at my side of the people. Look at your, the people who are supporting you. And sangyartham tan bravimite. That means I'll tell you their names now. I'm going to count, I told you about who our enemy is. Now let me tell you who are fighting from our side. And then he talks about, you are there, Bhishma is there, Karna is there, Kripacharya is there, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and he uses the word, for Kripacharya, he says, Sangrama Vijayi. That means he's never lost a battle. And Somadatta, Bhuri Shravaha. So all these people are all aligned with us. So, oh, Brahman, don't be scared. We have a strong army too. He's actually reassuring himself, but using Dronacharya as, his, what do you call it, boogie, the person that he was telling. So there are others who have decided to give up their life for us. So there is, other people also, those who have come to give up life for us. That means they value us more than themselves. So here, look at the attitude of Duryodhana. So he is thinking that these people have come because I am so great. He's kind of using that phrase here. They have come for me. Tyaktva jivitaha. That means they are ready to give up their life for me. I'm so important. So, and they are brave. They're, what kind of bravery? He says, Yuddha Visharad, that they are like PhDs in warfare. So they are, really experts in that. Or Nana Shastra Praharana. They can fight with many different types of weapons. So now Dronacharya had been listening. He didn't say a single word. He didn't even change his expression. He was like, Chalo, bol raha hai, bolne do. I'll just stand here, listen to him lamenting about whatever he has to say, because he knew that there was a problem with this war. So now we come back to Sanjay, and we will do that next week. But what I want to do is, I want to have a short breakout session for the team. And so the thing is, what do we, learn from what we have seen so far, including the what we learned from the initial Adi Shankara's, introduction, and so far what we have done. So I would like you to come up with, your version of what you have understood from it. So let's do that. And what we'll do is, we'll have 3 breakout sessions. Let's take 5 minutes, and you guys discuss among yourself, and one of you can become the speaker for the team, and just say what was your conclusion about it. Yeah. Please join your rooms. You will be. You're not joining?
मेरा किसी में है ही नहीं नाम.
ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? Just join the third room. उसमें कम लोग हैं. Okay. I'll join the second room. Namaste ji.
So we did not record the first few minutes, huh? I was late.
Half an hour. No, but it is okay. It's okay. It's not, I think everything will be come back.
Okay.
Mm. So how was the breakout session?
It was very good. Very good. I enjoyed it.
Nice. I think I'm still waiting for some more people.
It will time out. They'll all come back.
Yeah.
No, I think 60 seconds and they're supposed
Yeah,
to.
after 60 seconds, everybody has to come.
Yeah.
It will close them out.
It'll close them out. So we are
There
all
they are.
Here they are. Anybody wants to recap from group 1, group 2, group 3? Please.
Yeah, go with group 1 first, and then
Group
group 2,
one.
and then group 3.
All right, group
Same
1.
order.
Let's do that.
Who was group 1? I don't know who were in group 1.
Who was in group 1?
I can try to summarize
Yeah.
one or make an attempt. So in our group, several things were mentioned. First, the notion of Nivriti and Pravriti, those two aspects. And then the notion of me and mine and versus other. And then there was this question about Hanumanji, like what is the significance of Hanumanji and what role he plays. And Rajivji, maybe you can actually respond to that for everyone. But to complete the survey, then there was also mention of that Agyan and Maya. What is the distinction between them? There's a question. And then that Arjun is actually us. And that the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is to, just like Lord Krishna was removing the suffering and shoka bhav of Arjun, if we identify with Arjun, then this teaching can help us remove our, agyan, so that suffering may be reduced, something like that. If I missed anything, please, group 1, step in,
The other part we were talking about was Dharam Kshetra. What does that mean? That word, Dharam Kshetra, Kurukshetra, what does that signify over here? Did Dhritarashtra already know that it was the battle between Dharma and Adharma?
I think everybody knew. When you are on wrong, you know you are on wrong. It's not that he didn't know, but he was so apne kya bolte hain, pita moh mein, he had lost his viveka. He was blind physically also. He was, from his buddhi also, he was blind.
Yeah, what we also discussed, Rajiv ji, is his blindness is also symbolic here.
It's very symbolic. Yes, it is very symbolic.
One question was raised as to why he didn't want Divya Drishti for himself and asked it to be given to Sanjay. Maybe he knew what he would see and he didn't want to see it himself.
Yeah. Because he knew it's not going to be pleasant.
Good. Sir, एक क्वेश्चन है, वास्तविकता से सबको डर लगता है.
What? Say that again.
Well, people are scared of the truth, Well, it depends. If you are on the right, then you won't be scared. Yeah. If you have something that you don't want to share, then yes, that will be there.
जो डर है वो अहंकार की वजह से.
डर पाप की वजह से होता है. Pap is when knowingly you are doing something wrong. That is called papa. That which उसकी वजह से डर आता है. और डर actually डर अज्ञान की वजह से भी आता है. It's not just that. डर के बड़े कारण हैं, So
What
dar
about
is a
राजीव जी मोह की वजह से भी?
मोह की वजह से भी. Yeah. See,
मोह
when you
भी-
have the fear of losing something,
position, right?
that's when the dar comes. If you are not scared of losing, then
Then
there is
there's
no
no dar.
dar. And we
FOMO,
are
FOMO.
scared of, yeah, we are
Fear
scared
of losing out.
Fear of losing out. We are,
Losing out.
yeah, that it's follow, right? Fear of losing
FOMO,
out.
fear of missing out.
Yeah, same thing. So we are scared of that mainly,
Yep.
and the reason we are scared of losing out is because we have expanded our identity into things and people around us. ये मेरा बेटा, ये मेरा बच्चा, ये मेरा wife, मेरी husband, my house, my property. So whenever we have this feeling of, this expanded identity with all these things, then if anything, even if it doesn't go, that fear that it will go away is always there. And that is what is Agyan.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of myself as very limited and powerless. यही ज्ञान गीता में दिया पूरा. अभी, things will unfold.
It's just
as
the
we go.
beginning.
Just the beginning. This is the first chapter is all about Vishad. Vishad means sorrow. So we will hear, the lamenting voices of Duryodhana and then Arjuna, and and rest of the book is about answering that Shoka and Moha.
Rajiv ji, would you like to tell the group about the Hanumanji significance also?
In this particular case, the conflict is happening, right? The conflict is happening between right and wrong, between dharma and adharma. And there is a silent consciousness which is observing that fight. So in this particular case, Hanumanji is representing that Sakshi Bhava, the one which is observing it. And in this case, Krishna is representing the Vivek Buddhi, which is telling what is right and what should be learned from this. And so this is where, just a symbolic version of it. But the other thing is in Mahabharata, Hanumanji had promised that when a war will happen, and he had told Krishna that he will be taking care of the chariot where Bhagwan sits. So he will be the Dhwaja on that chariot. So he was Kapi Dhwaja.
Kapi.
That was the emblem of the Pandava army. All right, maybe we can wrap up. Then we'll continue with our first chapter. First chapter we can go through in next maybe 1 week or maybe 2 weeks. 1 week, Thursday and Tuesday we will finish it up, because I think we don't have to spend too much time on this story, because it's just self-evident. There's nothing to gain out of it. It's telling how people think. So
yeah,
right.
One point, Rajiv, in our group, Aruplaji was there, and she gave a good information, and also Monica and Jyoti were there. So I think we all came out with the same thought process of saying how conflict in your mind could cause these things.
Mm-hmm.
It happens day-to-day life. So what we were thinking was that you don't have to go with the story as is. Apply this to yourself, and it's happening on every thing that we do. Actually, every step of the way, you're making decisions. Either it is for yourself or for the sake of the society, or for the sake of your family.
Yeah.
But everywhere you need to apply this. I mean, I think the first chapter is basically saying where typically most people are.
Yes.
Is selfish, delusional,
yes.
egoistic. All of those
Uh-huh.
are coming up one
All
after the
those-
other, and the solution will come in the later chapters. I think
Yes.
that is basically what we were discussing in our group.
No, that is absolutely correct. The first chapter is all about lamenting, how we think.
It's your own current life.
It's our own current life. We try to justify even the wrong things that we do. So if
Yes.
we have said something to somebody, or we have done, ye uski wajah se, it's always the other
You try to
person's
put
fault.
yourself still to be correct. That's our
we
main
want
problem.
to see. That's why Duryodhana didn't think he was on the wrong. He thought
Yes.
that was his birthright. He could just trample over anybody. He's the Raja. He's the, so he didn't like any competition. So because they were presenting something that could snatch away his power, and that he didn't want. So in his heart, it was a very justified war. So
Rajivji, we had a question on that, whether actually Duryodhana thought he knew he was wrong, and maybe he knew he was wrong, but his vasanas were keeping him from doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Is that right, or is it that he thought he was doing the right thing?
He knew what he was doing, right and wrong. He didn't think. If he was thinking, then this war won't happen. So this is his thoughtlessness. That is his the state of mind where he could not go beyond his own selfish thought process. He could not
Delusional
think.
is the word.
He was very delusional. And then he had these Chandal Chokdi, Shakuni, and they were pumping him constantly that you are the best, you deserve it. So, it is the company also. So one is my mindset, and then I have a company that kind of, see, just suppose karo, just to give an example. I want to not drink, right? But I have a company where everybody drinks, thoda sa to le lo, koi baat nahi. One peg, or, this is not a problem. So you can get swayed into these things. It is not something, even if he was, let me tell you a story from Bhagavatam. From Mahabharata only. So, when this war finished, two people had, real big problem. One was Yudhishthira. He said, yeah, this is not right. So he had that same Vishad what Arjuna had before the war, he had after the war. And so that was one. And the second one was Gandhari. So she got really upset that, how could this happen? How could all my sons have died, all 100 of them. So, and she took it out on Krishna. He says, you could have stopped it, you could have given a good advice to Arjuna to back out and stuff like that. It's all your problem, your fault. So she gave Arjuna a shrap कि जैसे मेरा वंश खत्म हुआ है ऐसे तुम्हारा भी वंश खत्म होगा. And when Shrap to Krishna. And Krishna said, fine, thank you so much for this shrap. I accept it, and he knew this is going to happen. So he was smiling. But he said, you know what? You can blame me as much as you want, but don't you think you should take some blame too? That you could have been a voice of reason for Dhritarashtra, and you decided to close your eyes to everything wrong that was happening. You knew what Duryodhana was like. Why didn't you correct him when he was young? Why didn't you correct him when, he gave poison to Bhima? When all the things Bhagwan, listed out, that things that you could have done to stop it, but you didn't. So don't tell me that you could have stopped this war. You are the one because of which this war had happened, because you had some say in all these things. Dhritarashtra listened to you, but you decided to keep mum. You were okay with everything. Even during the, when there was Chir Haran happening of Draupadi, at that time, Draupadi was ready to give Shrap to this whole clan. But she stopped her. Gandhari stopped her.
Gandhari
Says, don't do that. Don't do that. My beti प्यारी, इस प्यारी बेटी का ध्यान तब नहीं आया था जब उसको घसीट के लाए थे.
It's only afterwards.
Afterwards. So these are the things. This is where the brain acts in a very different way. So.
Yep.
I had the question about loyalties. So just like today, we think that people don't care for the values they support even during elections or whatever, support their friends and family, knowing that they may not be great candidates. The same thing happened. Even great characters like Bhishma, Dronacharya, everybody wanted to stand for their loyalties rather than dharma. So what's the role of loyalties for us to understand from anything from this? Like,
you know who is the person who valued loyalties in America? Trump. now you can understand what loyalty means. But point is that their loyalty, they thought, see, this is where the dharma was misunderstood. Even for the greatest person like Bhishma, he could have voiced in so many different places, but he decided to stay quiet. And that is where even, Krishna told him, "Aap kya kar rahe ho? You should, this is the time, forget about all your vows." See, you always have to see, lower dharma has to go before higher dharma. Jaise suppose karo, there are two choices where you are trying to help somebody, take him to hospital, or you have an important business meeting to go to, and you are the only one who has to make that decision. You can decide because your loyalty is to the company and you say, okay, yaar, ye mar raha hai to koi aur dekh lega isko. Point is that we make these choices sometimes based on what we think is right. But Bhagavad Gita is about correcting our thinking.
Yes,
that's the purpose.
Got it. Yeah, just even speaking about Chap, everybody was giving Chap to one another.
I know.
Promising, Shekharji said that I think that it was Krishna who thought it's okay to break his promise about not lifting weapon.
Krishna broke his promise many times, so he was okay. He decided which dharma to follow. The conflict is between not right and wrong, from one right to other right, which one is the better right to follow, to go with. Just suppose a policeman catches a thief and he learns that, sees that the thief is his own son. What should he do? That dharma sankat happens. So this is where the right mind has to stay, how we should make decisions.
But
we have
Rajiv
to invoke Krishna in us.
ये choice or decision जो है ना, from one point of view, the path of dharma, like progress, we have to make the right virtuous choices. लेकिन I think that I am the one making the choice or decision. वो अहंकार भी तो हो सकता है ना, मतलब कैसे
it is okay, when you are in pravritti dharma, ahankar is okay, but ahankar followed with viveka. You cannot live without ahankar. See, ahankar doesn't mean pride. Ahankar means the I-ness. So this I-ness has to be identified with the right viveka, that I am this individual whose role is can be much higher than what I am, it can be higher than my own selfishness.
Yeah,
So,
in
see,
other words, I guess,
yeah.
Rajiv ji, what you're saying is, if you're doing it for the society, the right dharma, it is not a issue anymore, because there is you're not going to cure anything for yourself. You are doing the right thing for the society. If you're doing it for yourself, then you have a problem.
Yes. So ahankar is not necessarily a problem.
Yeah.
See, Arjuna stayed Arjuna throughout this whole Bhagavad Gita, right? Arjuna didn't become Brahman. So this whole lecture is for the pravarti people, people like us who are confused. So
right.
The ahankar is the only way we see. Ahankar is an identification, So it's okay to get identified with this individual, but what to do with this individuality is what we need to understand.
But one clarification about that, which is, I understand, it's the sense of doership, but even when we want to do good for the world, just say, वो भी अगर हम thinking mind से करें, अपनी limited thinking ability, ego ability से, even in a virtuous sense, that's different than the sense of Krishna awareness within us that can guide us, but only if we surrender to it, so that the actions happen due to the Krishna. Isn't there some sense there also? Meaning
yes.
कि, है ना? क्योंकि
इसके अंदर आता ही है ना, हमने वो करा था जो फर्स्ट Adi Shankara's introduction. He says developing the Ishwar Arpanam Buddhi, Ishwar Arpanam Buddhi is what is needed when we do the karma. When we get engaged in the world with that attitude is what needs to change.
I think Bridgie answered his own question.
Yeah, you did actually.
So what about the do-gooders who think they are doing a very human service to humanity, but they are in the process, the outcome is so dangerous.
Yeah, true. Because then they look down upon everybody else who is not doing what they are doing.
Yeah.
That is a bad thing. Yeah.
But that tells me, Shekharji, that they are doing it not for the society, they're doing it to betterment of themselves.
Yeah.
So why
just,
wouldn't that be a problem to start with?
But the facade is that they are doing it for the other.
It doesn't matter. People always do that, They would always figure out justify whatever they want to do.
If someone has a capacity to do big things with lots of money, instead of doing it anonymously or something, they put themselves on top. They put my name on top, then I'll do it. That lost the purpose already.
But what's interesting is that I think this is where I see a lot of times my confusion is because I feel like I have to figure things out. Ki optimal decision kya hai. However, if with humility, as you were saying, develop that other buddhi, vivek buddhi, then maybe the guidance can arise within you with humility. Na? Matlab, it's not something you need to figure out, but that's a subtle thing. Na? Because normally we're used to figuring. Mujhe sab pata hai, I'm going to do pros and cons and calculate the right action, or
This is where this is why the whole Gita Gyan was given to Arjuna, because he had that surrender bhav in him. He actually accepted, Bhagwan as the teacher. He says, I am confused. He understood that he was confused. See, we don't think we are confused. We think we are all knowing and we are right.
So Rajiv, what you are saying is Arjuna also, you mentioned that Arjuna was Arjuna throughout.
Yeah.
But at that moment when he doesn't want to fight at all, he was not action oriented at that time. He was passive.
He was he was taking an action, but it was coming out of his dar. It was moha. So he was not thinking clearly. That is the problem.
Thinking clearly. So he was, there was a point where he was not Arjuna himself, like that.
No, Arjuna was himself, but he was confused Arjuna. Yeah.
That's a very good clarification, Rajiv ji. Ki identification, Atma itself is not bad. It's just a surrender with humility where you identify with that larger principle that acts through you. It's not, one should not say ki the sense of doership is itself bad. It's just it has to be the awakened doership, whatever jo we have, rather than the small, arrogant, ego-oriented doership.
Ego-oriented, yeah, correct. Because, really thinking, seriously, analyze karo, every action that we do, there is so much help coming out from everywhere, right? No individual is capable of doing everything anyway, right? So इसलिए ownership लेने का तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं है, the samashti only is the owner of everything. Vyashti to, it's like, अगर मैं खाना बना लेता हूँ तो इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है, because ना तो मैंने गेहूं गाया, ना मैंने आग बनाई, ना मैंने बर्तन बनाए, what is it that I did? I mixed two things together and take कि मैं बड़ा महान हो गया. So
True. अगर अच्छा भी किया है तो ऐसे सोच के कि चलो भगवान की कृपा से
भगवान की right, exactly. That kripa has to be recognized every step of the way. All right, let's conclude.
Well, we didn't hear anything from group 2, so but I'm hoping that everything was covered in in these last few minutes. Whatever
that was our group 2, Ruplaji, myself, Shekharji, Sunilaji.
You were group 2. Good, yeah. Then we heard everybody.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Let's conclude. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamidachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right. See you Thursday. So,
what a gift this is to have a session like this. Thank you, Rajiv ji and Rupa.
I'm glad you guys are coming. It's
Thank you so much.
I am really enjoying